Welcome to the training that I'm presenting to you about 5+ things actually that you may not have known about podcasting and how it can help your business and just get you familiar with the concept if that's new to you. I've got notes over here so I don't forget all my information. Okay, first and foremost, it's a great marketing tool. It opens up the possibility for you to use video as well. People talk about monetizing podcasting, but your podcast can be actually what's monetizing your business. And there's, ways to do that strategically. It is a great marketing tool, something to think about. It also opens up the possibility for you to use video. And I'll mention it here, another site that I just absolutely fell in love with, Bob and Brad, the most famous physical therapists, I think, on the internet, self-acclaimed, self-appointed. A few years ago, I had a knee injury, and I was looking for exercises to strengthen it to avoid surgery, and I discovered them on YouTube. Now, I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg, but those guys are on video as well. They're on YouTube and they have their own podcast. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go that route too, but they are the most unassuming guys. I mean, and I mean this in kindness, but they're middle-aged guys and boomers who have clearly been around the block once or twice and are just rocking it. They have something like, I don't know, 5 million viewers. It's incredible. Subscribers. So, and and they started out with just a physical bricks and mortar physical therapy practice. So they're helping people all over, probably the world. I don't know, but all over the US at least. Okay, number 2. It's a crowded platform. It's a growing platform, but not a crowded platform. And by that, I mean, like, everybody says, or it has been in the past, hey, start a blog, make money kind of thing. And and I will include links in the description here so you can do your own research and discover this for yourself. But as of third quarter of 2022, there are 32 million people listening to 2.4 million podcasts. Now, that might sound like a big number until you look at it in comparison to blogging. There are 2 billion, with a B, websites that host 600 million blogs. And the reason that it's the disparity in the numbers is not all websites have a blog feature, have a blog. So 600 million blogs, and 75% of internet users read them regularly. So that is a crowded field. You have to, in other words, you have to do much more, work that much harder to stand out. And of course, the most popular ones are health and, any kind of health and food blogs. They're really very crowded areas. Number 3, the tech involved isn't that hard. Now, I want to do a disclaimer here. You do want good sound on your podcast because that is the only way that people are consuming your content. Okay, they're sticking in their earbuds, going for a walk, folding laundry, shopping, driving, whatever. So you do want good sound. But to actually get started, you don't need to sink a ton of money into it. You can record it on Zoom. You can edit in GarageBand if you have a Mac, or Audacity if you have a PC. And then you upload it to your host, like Anchor or Libsyn or Buzzsprout. There's a lot of them out there. And so you really could learn it. I'm self-taught. I had a homeschool podcast for years, co-hosted and learned. We did our own, it was a shoestring budget, right? So we did our own everything. Recording, writing, planning, scheduling, promoting, editing, all the things. And I learned how to do it. So, it is something that even your mom could do. Number 3, you don't have to make a long-term commitment. Like some people think, well, then I'm going to have to do this every week, because there is a lot involved in getting a quality product, producing a quality product. But you don't need to make a long-term commitment. One of the services that I offer, and I'll put a plug in here because I think it's really worthwhile, is a capsule podcast, which is a limited series, like usually 4 to 6 episodes of a podcast format that you can use in a myriad of ways. You can use it as a mini training. I've had clients use it as a Bible study, just encouragement or support in their niche, to display their skills, to serve their clients or customers. I mean, as a freebie. I mean, there's so many ways you can use a capsule podcast. And that doesn't require, that's not a long-term commitment involved there. So that's something that you might want to consider as well. Number 5, if you're already in business, you most likely already have the content and it can all be repurposed. It can all be repurposed. And what that means is you can take a blog post or you can take a newsletter you've done or an article you've written and do it and record it as a podcast. You can pull things out of that and create social media posts. I mean, you can just reuse things. It's really pretty incredible. And if you are already doing this, you most likely have a lot of content that you can put in podcast form. So it's just a question of wash, rinse, repeat, and how creative can you be? Okay. Number 6, the back end stuff matters. Now, that is important. So things like SEO, search engine optimization, so people can find your podcast and find your content, your material out there. Strategy, it's important to have a marketing plan. If you're going to go through the effort of putting the podcast together, you do want to promote it, right? And you do want to promote your business through it as well. So there's planning that's involved there. There's writing. Description, show notes, a blog post, social media quotes, newsletter copy. Those are all things that are involved. And you can decide, everybody decides for themselves how involved they want to make any of those things. But at the very least, you do have to be able to bullet point your content, your topic, as you do your recording, because it's very easy to go down rabbit holes and nobody wants to listen to that. Trust me. Number 7, the production aspects can be a distraction. Did you ever hear that saying, the devil's in the details? And that means that the way I use that is the devil's in the distractions, because the details can be distractions. Now, that's not to say that the details don't matter, because I firmly believe in putting out a quality product. Whatever you're going to decide to do, do the best you can do with it. And if you are going to decide to do a podcast, whether you do a recurring, regular show or you do something like a capsule podcast, you do want to do the best you can do. However, it's also possible to get so stuck and mired down into the details that you never get it off the ground. And that's what you don't want to happen. So, the production aspects, if they're going to distract you, then it's definitely worth handing them over to someone, because one of the sayings that I have is sometimes you have to delegate the deets to build your business. And I think that's really important in so many different ways. Number 8, you business owner, don't have to do all the details, all the things, okay? Hashtag all the things. If you have a social media manager, you can have them promote it. If you have a VA, they can do the research for SEO and for hot and trending topics. If you're a writer, I can show you how and what to include in the various components that I mentioned before: the description, the show notes, all the social media things and stuff like that. So you don't have to do all the things. You can, as I mentioned earlier, delegate things. The number 9 is you may be pleasantly surprised. As I mentioned before, Bob and Brad, and I'll put the link to their podcast and their YouTube video below, definitely are, and they have grown since their beginnings. They were very, kind of mom and popsy. And I mean that in kindness. I mean that as a compliment. They had just a cozy kind of show, like you were really just talking to to two doctors, or two friends really, who were helping you out. And their show, they interview professionals in health fields and stuff. Like, they've really grown. So you may be surprised too. I'm sure that wasn't their, well, judging by the comments they've made on some of their earlier episodes, how, this was new to them. They weren't really techie people, but someone told them they need to do this. They have, let's see, I think I wrote down they have 4.5 million subscribers on their YouTube channel. So I'm sure they were surprised. And number 10, the common, I guess, a challenge or reason that people give me that they don't want to do this is, what am I going to say? And I don't like the sound of my voice, which both have to do, with the vocals. Well, what am I going to say? If you decided to move forward with a podcast, we would talk all about that. And if you are a business owner, I would bet good money that wouldn't be a difficult thing for us to come up with. But if you don't like the sound of your voice, most of us don't. And I want to reassure you, you're not alone. I don't like the sound of my voice. And yet I've had other people say, oh, I just love when I listen to you. So that's irrelevant. It really, and it's, there's things you can do with the audio editing too to make your voice sound a little better. There are ways that you can learn to speak more clearly, to not have the filler words, the yeah, like, things. And some of them are quaint and kind of are who you are too. So don't be ashamed of who you are, what you sound like, what message you have. Those are all excuses. Those are all excuses. And you may be pleasantly surprised if you're able to shelf the excuses and to just give it a shot. Now, this isn't for everybody. So please don't feel like I'm trying to talk you into doing a podcast. But if you are a business person, if you are even mission-minded, if you have a ministry and you feel like you have a message, you have a whether it's a story or a lesson or just a voice of encouragement that can help someone, let me encourage you to get it out there. Let me encourage you, there's nothing wrong in growing your business. There's nothing wrong because you're serving others. There's nothing wrong in doing that. And go out on a limb and try something new. I did. And I have a career and a business today that I never would have dreamed of 5 years ago. And who knows what the future holds for you. So anyway, okay, I'm off my soapbox. I hope you found this helpful. Go ahead and check the description below for links, anything that I've mentioned here and some other helpful things. Go ahead and grab the free download, 5 questions to ask when you're hiring a podcast manager. Really helpful. And give me a call too. I'll have the link down below for my calendar, and take a look if you want to hop on a 30-minute call and we can discuss whether you think this is for you. That'd be great. And if not, I just wish you well in your business. And if you've gotten this far, congratulations and thank you so much for hanging in with this. I'll see you around soon. Hey, thanks for listening and watching. I hope this was helpful to you. If so, please consider subscribing and following my channel. Follow me on Instagram for more tips on podcast production. And definitely schedule a free discovery call if you'd like to chat about ways that I could possibly serve your business with my skills. And until then, remember, sometimes you have to delegate the details to build your business. Take care.